From killing off characters and bringing them back from the dead, the Arrowverse has had it all. Even though we love to see our favorite characters coming back to life, sometimes we hate to see it not happening. But deaths aside, we have seen a lot of sad and heartbreaking moments in the shows. So we're going to show you the most heartbreaking Arrowverse moments no one can get over. Let's get started. Number 10. H.R. Wells. When we were first introduced to H.R. Wells, he presented an alternative version of Harrison Wells. He was definitely a good addition to the Flash team with his intelligence, even though no one took him quite seriously. He did so much for the team that in the end, he ended up sacrificing himself to save Iris from Savitar. This sacrifice was such a noble thing for him to do that it made us all cry when we watched it happen. Even though at first we thought the lovable Iris dies, once HR revealed it was him, it truly made the entire scene even harder to watch. Thanks to HR switching places with Iris, he managed to save her from her fate from dying in Savitar's hands. Number 9. Laurel's death. Although eventually Laurel did die, the most tearful scene was the moments before she died. After being seriously wounded by Damien Darhk, she is lying in a hospital bed and finally confesses to Oliver that she still loves him. Throughout the past, both of them have tried to rekindle their romance but eventually decided to remain friends, so when this scene happened, we were all left shocked and hoped they could finally be together again. Unfortunately, Laurel died, leaving Oliver and Quentin Lance behind to mourn her. The entire scene is extremely sad, and the fact that Oliver has heard those words from her makes it 10 times more difficult to watch. If her confession and death wasn't sad enough for you, the scene where Quentin finds out about her death will definitely be sad enough. Number 8. The death of Moira Queen. Moira might have not been the most lovable character in Arrow, but she was still the mother of our favorite sibling superhero duos. Her twisted motives only made her a horrible person, but the scene where she dies definitely deserves to be at the number 8 on this list. When Slade Wilson used Moira Queen as a way to take everyone that Oliver loves, Slade makes Oliver choose between his sister and his mother. Once the moment came for her to be killed so violently, we definitely felt the same pain and sadness that Oliver and his sister felt. But at the end, Moira was remembered as a brave woman that insisted she be taken instead of her daughter. Given that she was the only parent Oliver had left, made this scene extremely painful for everyone that watched it.
You did not pass that on to your son.
Number 7. Captain Cold. The best thing about Legends of Tomorrow definitely has to be Captain Cold. His character is one of the few that everyone loves, and you can see him on the edge between the good side and the bad side. Given all of this, it was heartbreaking to watch him during the Season 1 finale when he decides to sacrifice himself to save Mick. This decision truly shows what kind of a character he is to save everyone else for the cost of his own life. The tearful scene was painful to watch for sure, and watching everyone else's reactions made it even worse. But even though this might not be the last time we see Captain Cold due to the nature of time travel in this universe, it still pains us to even think about him dying.
Shut it down! There are no strings on me.
Number 6. A Day with Nora Allen. When Barry is absorbed by the Speed Force, while the team tries everything they can to rescue him, he finds himself in front of the house he lived in when he was little. This episode is probably one of the best ones to this date, and the reason for that is that Barry finally reunites with his mother Nora. While he's trapped with no escape, he gets to spend time with his dead mother. This episode is full of heartbreak as well as hope, while Barry tries everything he can to save her from dying. Having a day with his mother definitely makes this episode one of the saddest ones in The Flash.
My beautiful boy. You have to find a way.
How?
I don't know.
Number 5. Robert Queen. When it comes to sacrificing character, Robert Queen was the first in the Arrowverse. To make sure that his son makes it out alive and returns home where he belongs, he ends up shooting himself. He left everything to his son, and it was up to Oliver to exact vengeance for all that happened in Starling City. What makes this scene so heartbreaking is the fact that Oliver was forced to grow up after his father died and had to bury him once he was on land. The shock and grief made Oliver the person he is today, and is the reason why he survived everything he has so far. Number 4. Henry Allen dies. When Barry's mother was killed, his father was the only one accused and convicted of her murder. Although he maintained his innocence, no one believed him except those closest to him. After proving that he's innocent and released from jail, Barry finally thought he had a chance for a real family reunion. But Zoom had other plans. In order for him to show Barry how similar they both are, he kidnapped Henry and killed him while Barry watches. This leaves Barry devastated, and it left us all shocked. It was hard to watch Barry in this state where he finally thought everything would be better. Everything was ripped away again. He finally had a chance to be with his father, but Zoom was determined to take everything from Barry. Number 3. Oliver calls Moira. After believing that your son is dead for 5 years, hearing him on the phone would be unbelievable, right? Well, this scene was so incredibly made both by the actor's performance and the writing that it definitely made us cry. After Moira is convinced that her son is dead, she receives a phone call from Oliver. At first, she doesn't believe it, but once she listens to her voice more carefully, she realizes that it is her son. After he told her that he's alive and that his father didn't, the pain for Robert's death and the happiness that her son is alive is all mixed into one emotion of both sadness and excitement. We're so glad they decided to include this moment in the show and showed this warming moment. Number 2. Malcolm Merlyn's death. Although the entire scene where Merlyn dies is exceptionally well made, we couldn't help but find that it was definitely missing something. In the season 5 finale of Arrow, the Dark Arches sacrifice themselves so that his daughter Thea can live. But during the scene, it felt like it was uneventful and lacked the emotional weight. In the moments after the death, it appeared as if nothing happened and no one talked about the consequences that happened when Malcolm Merlyn died. Throughout season 6, he's not grieved or mourned, nor does he receive any resemblance for his honor. It looks like he didn't even exist. We do believe the scene was extremely painful and should have been acknowledged more. Number 1. Nora Allen. As we previously mentioned, Barry had to spend a day with his late mother when he got trapped in the Speed Force. In this time, not only did he try to enjoy the time he was spending with her, he also was trying to figure out a way to save her from dying. Even though he knew that if that happened, there would be great consequences, he still tried. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to stop it. At the moment when his mother was being killed by Reverse Flash, Barry stood there and made sure that the present remains the same as he knows it. The entire scene is so sad, and it was impossible to watch it without getting teary-eyed. Seeing Barry getting the chance to say goodbye to his mother and telling her that he'll grow up just fine is the closure that Barry and the audience needed all this time. We honestly couldn't think of a better or most heartbreaking moment to be on the number 1 spot. On a related note, we wanted to know, which moment do you think was the most heartbreaking? Let us know in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more amazing videos such as this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.